a good night's sleep help with overindulging in alcohol and sugar? Let's talk about mom life without overindulging, which I know sounds totally impossible. I'm Allison, the Healthy Mom Coach, and I help moms break free from overindulging in alcohol and sugar as a way to deal with daily stress and anxiety. My substance of choice was alcohol. A common reward for moms is to stay up late for me time with their favorite substance, whether that be a glass of wine or a pint of ice cream. What if you were to focus on a powerful habit that will make all the other habits and upgrades you want to experience easier by making you feel less anxious and depressed, which reduces the desire to overindulge? I'm talking about sleep. Having a regular sleep schedule when you can get quality sleep each night will also give you more self control when it comes to overindulging. Sleep is one of the most important cornerstones of good health that is overlooked by so many, unfortunately. Getting a good night's sleep gives us enough energy to get through the day, make good decisions, have good focus, and it also helps regulate our moods. The events of the day are processed and stored in your memory during sleep. Deep REM sleep is especially important since this is where it all happens. Drinking alcohol lessens the amount of REM sleep that you get, and it inhibits the process of storing memories. There have been studies done that show that a lack of REM sleep can actually shorten your life. Think of sleep as a way to clean out the toxins in your brain that you've accumulated during the day to give your brain a fresh restart for the next day. On the nights that I would drink, I would always awaken at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning feeling full of anxiety and feeling like adrenaline was pumping through my veins. That's because it was. My body was busy trying to detox the alcohol from my body, and stress chemicals were swirling around, keeping me wide awake and filling my mental state with even more worry and shame about what I did the night before. Some nights it was so bad that I was unable to fall back asleep, and I always felt exhausted and depressed the next day. How many nights did I lay in bed thinking about how much I drank the night before, saying to myself, I'm never going to do this again? And how many times did I let it happen again? My struggles with sleep go way back to when I was a teenager. I started to develop insomnia, probably due to stress. Then I started drinking, and when I got into my 20s, my insomnia really knocked me down. I would have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep. I would wake up early. And I went through my 20s not getting the quality sleep that I knew that I needed, but I just attributed it to, well, that's how my life is because my dad was always a bad sleeper. So I figured it was something genetic, and I just had my dad's bad genes, and I was just always going to be a bad sleeper. So I just kind of accepted it as being my normal, and that was the way my life was going to be, and I have to deal with it. So once I got into probably my early 30s, I was really struggling big time with this, and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I decided to go meet with a sleep doctor, and he put me through weeks of cognitive behavioral therapy and tried different medications with me. Some would work for a while and then they would stop working. And also, I didn't want to be on a medication. I didn't want to depend on a medication to get a good night's sleep every night. So that was always a concern for me. He also had me do a sleep study. I'm sure you've heard of sleep studies before, just to check for different sleep disorders. I did the sleep study, and my results came back, and he just basically said to me, well, we can't really define any exact reason why you're having this insomnia, but you're probably just always going to be a bad sleeper. So right there, I was just labeled by the doctor that I was just always going to be a bad sleeper, and I just didn't want to accept that. It was really hard for me to accept that this was my life and I had to struggle with this and feeling tired and exhausted all the time. I was all the time, no energy. I used to have to lay down every afternoon in my bed. I didn't actually take a nap. I believe it or not, I couldn't fall asleep during the day to take a nap, but I would have to at least lay down in bed and close my eyes and take a rest for an hour just to gain back some energy because my body ached so much just from being so exhausted all the time. So fast forward a little bit, and that's when I decided to take my break from alcohol, or actually change my relationship with alcohol and no longer drink alcohol. And after, I don't even remember if it was a few weeks or a month or so, I started sleeping better. It was just amazing. I started falling asleep easier. I started feeling like I was getting better quality sleep at night. I wasn't waking up wide awake in the middle of the night. And don't get me wrong, I still have nights like that sometimes when I have trouble sleeping, but it's nothing like it was before when I was drinking alcohol. And what I didn't know back then when I was drinking heavily through my 20s and my 30s and the beginning of my 40s was that I didn't realize, I knew that if I drink alcohol, that I'm going to sleep poorly. Everybody knows that. If you drink, if you have red wine, you're not going to sleep well at night. But I was also not sleeping well on the nights that I didn't drink. And I didn't understand that there was a connection to that until after I stopped drinking and I educated myself. And I learned that alcohol can actually stay in your system for a full 7 to 10 days. That's the after effects of alcohol. It could take 7 to 10 days for your body to rebalance and go back to homeostasis from when you were drinking before. And I didn't know that. So my regular routine for drinking was heavy weekend binge drinking. I would drink heavily on the weekends, which was usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I would give myself a break Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I was only giving myself 4 days worth of a break, which was not giving myself enough time to actually clean out my system and release all those toxins and rebalance all of my neurotransmitters and my hormones and everything else that helps with sleep. So I didn't know that. And it's crazy to me that even my sleep doctor, I don't remember him really digging into my alcohol use and asking about it. So after I stopped drinking and I learned about this, it was just a huge aha moment for me that how much alcohol it's connected to affecting your sleep even when you're not drinking it on a regular basis every day. I mean, if you're taking a break, it's still affecting you, which is crazy. So huge aha moment for me, and I just wanted to share that for you, that it was such a negative impact on my life, alcohol drinking related to my sleep. Now, other people might not have that much difficulty with it, but for me, that's what worked. That's what happened for me. And when I realized that, I finally was able to get better quality sleep, I didn't have to lay down anymore in the afternoon. I didn't have to take those rests, and I have full energy now to get through my day and get my work done and be present with my family and just enjoy my life. So it was a huge life changer for me. And we all know that when we feel tired, we're more prone to just giving into our substance of choice, whether that is having a glass of wine or reaching for a sugary snack. And I know for me too, if there's a night where I didn't sleep so well, I was always reaching for things in my pantry that weren't exactly the healthiest choice for me. So when I feel well rested, I want to, I treat my body better. I just feel better, and I'm able to make better choices. So what would it look like for you to make sleep more of a priority? It's just something to think about. And if you want help with this or you want to learn more about my coaching, check out my website at thehealthymomcoach.com, where you can book a free breakthrough session. I'll be back soon with another video. And in the meantime, enjoy your holiday.